Alright, fools, it is Jet. I am back. Day 34. Raj Muuin fighting all the rats. Good citizen. And I have started doing things, apparently. So, let's, whoa. So apparently rats and spiders don't get along. That's quite interesting to me. Well, anyways, yesterday I ranted a little bit on politics, and I think I'm going to continue today, sort of. The topic's going to be slightly different, but it's going to sort of get into one of the things that... Whoa. Oh, jeez. Yeah, let's die to that. That would be great. Getting into one of the things that bugs me most about the scenario that the world, but largely America, is in, and it's unnecessary and stupid, and oh my god, it's, have I complained enough for you yet? Jeez. Oh, that doesn't belong here. That belongs on the other side. Do you guys think... I can burn two. Do you guys think I should have a different color on the outside? I'm not sure. I do think, however, that I ought to take this risk and do some of this. Normalize things a little bit. Gosh, that rat. What is he, inside? The water's perfectly happy there, or it was. So yeah, about that thing I was just talking about. Ooh, it's just hard for me to concentrate. I managed somehow. Oh, very good. Okay, let's I want to see how high up high is. I don't remember from yesterday. Look at that sky. So, one of the things that bothers me most right now about all of our political arguments and division in the country and the world has everything to do with tribal labels. Okay? I'm a liberal. You're a conservative. Whoa. I'm a progressive. You're a regressive? I don't know. These things are doing us a significant, huge, completely unnecessary harm. None of these words are bad. None of these words are good. They mean different things in different contexts. And so just say, I am X, is a fallacy. You're being dishonest to yourself. Now, you can actually take what I'm about to tell you and define it a few different ways and still be right. So take it with some grain of salt and instead try to get where I'm coming from when I say all this. But, whoops. Basically, oh god, am I going to be able to do two complicated things at once? Look at that landscape. I like that the coast is close and clear. Maybe I'll expand the village down onto the beach later on. How's that for a plan? I have a plan! Oh my god! Oh my god, I have a plan! That is real progress right there. So. Let us treat... This is the top floor, I think. So let's, yeah. Let's do this and cut it off a little bit. Yeah? Okay. How far up can I get away with this? That's the maximum right there. So, what I want you to do is imagine... Maybe I can expand it outwards. Now that I'm at the top. Expand it out a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. So imagine, if you were back in, what was it? Not algebra? I don't know. There's some math course where you had to do graphs. Okay? And you generally do it on an XY axis. Okay? So you have the X going across and the Y going up and down. In Minecraft world, Y is backwards and forward, sort of, or north and south. I can't remember which. Whereas Z is up and down, but that's a three-dimensional thing. You don't have to worry about that. Regardless, I'm not making all the way around. Yeah, because I didn't do this or this. Okay, bear with me. Oh, I'm runned out. Oh, I am definitely not runned out. Okay. So this is completely arbitrary, but because sometimes people consider progression to be upwards or forwards or something like that. Oops. We will treat the up and down y-axis as progressive versus conservative. And these are dictionary terms, okay? Do not think of somebody who is one or the other. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about... Oh, jeez. I hate losing things. I don't know if I even want to do this. Ooh, look at that. Crap. Let's put that back. I believe that was down here. Ooh, this is getting complicated. Please come back. No! Okay, well... Conservative... Oh my god, I can't keep them to save my life. Let us just define terms. They are neutral. One is not better than the other, except under context. Okay, now, conservative will mean desiring things to stay the same, resisting change. Now, there are times when that is good, and there are times when that is bad. Now, like, for example, let's say, let us say there are floodwaters coming, and use, I guess, poor Colorado as an example here. There are floodwaters coming, and you have been told they are coming. The conservative thing to do is to stand your ground. Okay? This is not necessarily what you really want to do. If those floodwaters rise around your neck, and above your head, and you drown, that conservatism, that resistance to getting up and moving out of the way, just got you killed. Okay? That was a bad thing in that circumstance. However, the opposite of this, progressivism versus conservatism, these are the two opposites. Progressivism is the desire to change. And while you do not want to stand still while the floodwaters are rising, you also don't necessarily want to progress yourself off the side of a cliff, which is also completely possible. This is ugly, but I don't know what else to do, especially right here. Or down here underneath, this outer rim. I guess I need more stone on the outside. I would like to incorporate some glass, maybe? Look at that. The sun's already on its way down. Holy cow. And I haven't even gotten... I'm only halfway through. So progressivism is the desire to change. Now, there are times when that's good, and there's times when that's bad. If you're living in a nation that was engaged in slavery, then to progress away from that would be to end slavery, and we consider that to be a good thing. However, right now, after a century's hard-won victories to get women the right to vote and better paying jobs, they're still making on the average like only 70 cents on the dollar for equal work. This is not, you cannot include things like maternity leave and stuff, because during that time they're not contributing to that particular equation. So when a woman puts in 10 hours of work and a man puts in 10 hours of work, her on average makes 70 cents for every dollar that he makes, when you take out every single other consideration. So that's really bad. It's better than it was, and unfortunately the right wing in this nation is pushing back in the other direction. They're trying to get rid of this, and they're trying to make it harder for minorities to vote, and all these really wonderful things. So they are progressing, even as the left is trying to progress towards more voting rights and more, more equal pay and stuff like that. The right is trying to progress towards less of these things, back to where we were before. So you could technically call it a regression, but it's a they desire change away from what we have now, and that is therefore a progression, and that is a bad one. I don't think anybody can argue that it is good for women to make less men for the same amount of work, or for minorities to not be able to vote. So, stuff like that. Let's cook up a rat. So, on this axis, at the top is progressive, and at the bottom is conservative. Neither one is good, neither one is bad, except in distinctive contexts. Let's see here. It is pretty tall, isn't it? I'm guessing I'm going to have too wide windows. Bear with me as I figure this out. Here. Now, crossing these perpendicular are two more concepts, and frankly, you could probably add a three-dimensional concept to this as well if you really wanted to. I've thought about it a few times, and I have things that make certain kinds of sense to me, but are not complete concepts. Usually dealing with economy, but I'll just stick to what I know right now, and that is liberal versus authoritarian, or you could say regulationist. And you might say, well, wait a minute, liberals love to regulate big business, and that's not really true. And this goes to the point that I'm trying to make. Yeah, we're going to need more. We're going to need a lot more of this blue stone before we're done. But that's coming along. So, liberal means permissive. You're letting others do whatever the heck they want. Whereas the opposite of that is restrictivist or authoritarian, where you regulate what other people can do. You tell them you can do this and you can't do that. And I can understand if you're the person being told you can't do something that you've been trying to do, it's going to feel oppressive and you're not going to like it. However, there's a time and there's a place. And sometimes if you can't regulate your own behavior and do the right thing, somebody's going to have to step in and do it for you or make you do it. And that is regulationist. And it is the opposite of liberal. And one good example, man, I already used it. Did I use them all up? Oof. I'm going to have to do some mining. Oh, we didn't get very far at all. And I still don't really have a plan beyond the stairwell. Let's take a moment then. So, sorry, I also have to think pretty hard. Can I cook anything? I think I can cook stuff now. Yeah, I can cook stuff. Okay. Any more? I thought there was more. Well, I can cook more of the rat. And anyways... Oh, there was more. So, one good example is, in the United States, we have what we call neoconservatism. And it is a misnomer. It doesn't actually mean anything. It's just a group of people, basically. And they have taken this title onto themselves because they think people like the word conservative more than they like the word liberal. However, they have this sort of highly corporate, nationless, want to be free from all regulation, all responsibility, do whatever the heck they want, who cares who gets hurt as long as they can make money. Corporatism, plutocrat, whatever. And we call that neoconservative here. However, most of the rest of the world calls that neoliberal. And they do that because what they're saying from their perspective is they are behaving liberally, being permissive towards giant corporations and plutocrats. Whereas in America, the idea of liberal is liberal on a social level. You know, what you do with your personal space is your own, and you have the freedom to vote and the freedom to speak your mind and the freedom to, you know, do the press and research what people are doing and stuff like that. But liberals in the United States want to restrict the powers of corporations because they have a long history of doing really terrible things to people in the name of making money. So the same name used in two different contexts mean the complete opposite thing. So what you really have to do is take these four words, liberal, restrictive, progressive, and conservative, use their simplest definitions, and explain your particular position on any issue according to the definitions of the word. So I, as sort of this democratic, lefty kind of guy, I am restrictive. I want to restrict corporations pretty heavily. I also want to restrict military. You know, I don't want to get rid of it yet because I think there's still some small need for it. But it should be highly regulated. Have a, you know, the public should have an eagle's eye on it at all times, just like they should on corporations, to make sure that they behave, because we have a military-industrial complex that is practically corporate now, and unfortunately, that is the same. Alchemy, I guess you could say, that got the term fascism coined by Mussolini, where it was a corporate-military merger. I mean, people keep thinking of the Nazis as fascists. They were not. They were a cult. And they allied with a couple of different fascist states, but they themselves only had a few of the definitions in place, and others were completely different. So I'm restrictive towards giant entities. I want the government and business and military to behave. And I believe the government is the only tool big enough to make them behave, and that's why it should belong to the people and not to corporations and the military. So right now everything's backwards. But I am liberal socially. People, every single person has the right to vote. Considering how much impact, sorry, my day's coming. Considering how much impact the United States has on the rest of the world whenever we arbitrarily decide to do something, I'd be all for each ambassador to the United States having one vote. So compared to all the rest, they don't make a huge impact on our decision making, but they have a little bit just because what we do affects them. So, you know, I'm really liberal about that. The border doesn't matter that too much to me because this whole world, we're all in the same boat. We have to cooperate and negotiate with one another. So I'm both restrictive and liberal at the same time, depending on the topic. Then again, I want to preserve ecosystems. I want to preserve a sort of slow pace to human growth, and so that we have the time to sit back and study the situations we're getting into and make better decisions. And that would be a conservative position. At the same time, I recognize that human rights in America are pretty crappy. They're better than some places, but they're worse than most. Sadly, I mean, they're literally places that we think are death traps are actually doing better socially than we are. Cat, not right now. Sorry for the blank. I'll animate here. Cat, seriously, you're in the way. And he's distracting me. And I want to get this done so I can stop boring you. But because there's so much going wrong, I mean, right now we have the government shutdown. We have this minority, this fraction. It's not even the whole Republican Party. This fraction of the Republican Party is holding the entire country hostage and hurting millions of people, 800,000 directly and 2 to 5 million people directly serving them indirectly, just so they can get points and the political points. Because even when offered the opportunity to have the thing they say they're demanding, then they turn around and say no and vote against themselves. This is a game to them. They're hurting people. This is socio or even psychopathic by definition. And I want to fix that. I want that to stop. I want our environmentalism to get better. I want more solar and more wind and less burning of fossil slimes and less poisonous in our food, all that stuff. So to change those things, I have to progress. So I am both progressive and conservative at the same time, depending on the topic. And so it bothers me whenever we get into political discussions or people start trying to slander each other in debates. Oh, you're a liberal. Oh, you're a conservative. As if these were bad words or good words. And they're not. Neither way. And the fact of the matter is, liberal or conservative does not describe you. It does not describe me in any way. It is, at the very best, 1/4 of you. And if you just adopt that as the entire explanation of everything you think and everything you believe, then you're not even a human being anymore. You're just a pawn. And you've been convinced to fight somebody else who you have 95% of everything in common with and should be your friend in all things, to get together and defend yourself against, these corrupt people in high places. Instead, they have convinced you guys and me to be enemies, and we're not. And it's all because we have these stupid, tribalistic labels that we apply to ourselves that mean something completely different than what we think it does. So, that's my rant. Tomorrow I am not going to rant. Is it even... Okay, good. It's still dark. So, oh, jeez. Thanks for putting up with that. I hope you liked it, or at least understood it. I mean well. I'm trying really hard. It's just, I am also very frustrated. We could be fixing so many things in the world right now, and we can't because we're arguing about labels. So, there you have it. Thanks for watching. Please be merciful and like the video, and come back tomorrow for day 35. Good night, folks.